LoGorrhea, excessive and often incoherent talkativeness or wordiness. I like that.
What's up?
That's
Welcome back, people. I'm here with James Proctor. How are you doing, dude?
yeah, I'm very good, very good. Very relaxed. I'm just doing nothing at the moment. The last few days, like everyone.
Yeah, but you said so obviously I know you through David. Well, he told me about you and some of the things you're
Yeah, what did
doing.
you say? I'm living some sort of exciting life over here. I'm not sure if that's true.
No, he was just saying you're doing something where you're riding with your bike. So
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Okay, so
Explain
I
that.
just got back from a trip. I sort of randomly discovered something called bikepacking.
Bike. Oh, like backpacking with a bike.
Yeah, it's like this a growing thing, trend. You get all this gear, camping equipment, etc., and you just strap it to the bike any way you can, and try to get as far as you can, I guess.
And
So I went 3 weeks from Tokyo up to Hokkaido.
oh, because you're in Japan right now.
Yeah.
How's it over there? I hear that things over there are open. Like there's people eating at restaurants and what.
Yeah. It's kind of like voluntary isolation, but yeah, it's everyone's kind of cooperating with the lockdown, but there's no police out enforcing anything. But businesses are open. Some restaurants are doing takeaway only. Some of them are 30% capacity. Some of them are shut entirely. But schools are closed. Bars are closed. Well, actually, I've been to a few bars, but
Nice.
yeah.
Gotta get some.
I think they reduced traffic on the subway by about 60%.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously I haven't been to Japan, but I mean, you see the videos from all these years of how the trains are packed and people
Yeah,
traveling.
actually, I went to Shinjuku, which is one of the five sort of city center hubs. The biggest one. It's the busiest train station in the world. I think it does 4 million people per year.
4 million.
I went there a week ago around midnight. Normally it's like the most alive place on earth, and it was just empty. So yeah, kind of like a ghost town in this sort of like neon Tokyo downtown with nobody around.
But you said there's no one's like policing it. The police aren't really enforcing it.
No, it's just everyone's doing their thing on their own. Yeah, it's like socially enforced, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I mean, I don't go out without a mask because everybody's got one, so it just looks bad for the foreigner if you're like,
like, oh, look at this guy now, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So it's everyone's just trying. There's a lot of old people in Japan. It's like the oldest. They live a long time, so you got to be like respectful.
Yeah, true.
They're more at risk.
And because I mean, you obviously from South Africa.
Yeah, I've been out here 3 years. I was China, then Thailand, now Japan. So Durban, yeah.
3 years, but you from South Africa.
Durban,
is what I'm
Durban, yeah.
Durban, yeah. So, like, obviously, you know, South Africa. They've obviously just taken things and run with it too far. I mean, the way
yeah, definitely. I've seen some videos as well, but it seems to be that way everywhere. I think they've gone too far in England. Some states in America have gone too far. I saw 2 videos yesterday. It's a nice comparison, both of like children getting torn away from their parents.
Yes,
one was in South Africa and one was in Australia.
So what happened in the Australian one?
It's out in the streets. It's just the child screaming and the people filming it asking the cops if that's really what they signed up for. So she was protesting, wanting to be outside, and then they arrested her and had to separate the child.
That's so crazy. I mean, like, it's a traumatic experience. I mean, if you're the kid, you're not really sure what's going on. People are saying one thing, and then the next day, your parents are telling you something else. Now you're being just torn away from them.
Yeah. There's no way to really comprehend it. Huh?
And I mean,
I heard kids are like saying, "Can we go to McDonald's now?" And the parents are like, "No." And normally the parents will, the kid's like, "I've been really good. Why can't I go to McDonald's? I've been behaving myself."
yeah, it's like a whole psychological thing now. Even yeah. So I mean, my whole thing is that, first of all, I don't even think these cops are even like truly informed on everything. Especially here in South Africa, it's just like they hear something on the news, they get told something in the meeting, and then they go out and do it,
Yeah, and there's people, they just generally know that everyone's supposed to be indoors, and if you're out, you're breaking the law somehow.
Yeah, like I saw this thing, this weird story in America, in Florida. It's like, basically,
I lived in Florida, actually. I was there for 2 years.
Apparently, they say the craziest people in the world come from Florida.
Yeah, Florida man, he's out there.
So basically, these people were protesting the gyms being closed, and so what happens is they all go stand outside the courthouse, like 30 people, and their whole protest is to open the gyms. Is they start working out. So people start doing push-ups, they start doing squats, all these things. And then it's like, you're protesting for the gyms to be open, yet you're showing everybody that you are able to train wherever you are with no equipment.
Yeah, right. It's a bit of irony.
It's a weird time. It's so strange. And what let's just dive in on this thing. It's pretty interesting. This, what did you call it?
Bikepacking.
Bikepacking.
It's backpacking with a bicycle, yeah.
So how does that work? You go with a group of people? Or do you go
you could, but from what I'm seeing from the videos of YouTube I've watched, most people did alone. They get there's like specialist bags. Some go on top of the railings, some go behind, and you just pack them up, sleeping bags, tents. I just went in a hammock, actually. Like a little stove, depends on how far you're going. And just basically try hit 100 kilometers a day, set up camp, do the same thing the next
100 Ks a day. Cheap. So
if you told me a year ago I was doing those numbers, I would have laughed. But yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, also it's just, staying fit as well. It's just good for your mental. I mean, imagine.
I kind of forgot that there was a coronavirus pandemic like destroying the world, and I was 3 weeks out in the mountains and just trying to figure out where to camp and what to eat.
And what do you mean? So you obviously don't travel with like packed stuff because it's going to go off.
Yeah, I'm not too far off like the beaten path, so I could, before I found a campsite, I'd always make sure I'd hit a convenience store, 7-Eleven or something, just get some noodles or something. And,
yeah, just quickly
snack bars, and just I get like ham and just eat the ham straight up.
And
get your protein going.
Yeah, and so I mean, you're in the mountains, and this is in Japan. Like, no wildlife that you have to be careful of.
Wildlife. I saw some Japanese mongoose. That was little brown guy. He's kind of cute. Cool bird life. A lot of herons. There's a lot of water. So there's a lot of fishing going on. There are black bears. The one place I was camping, there was like a bear sign. You could see the trees have been scratched, but I didn't see the bear. Japanese monkeys live in the mountains. They're kind of cool.
Like social, do they come down and check out like, hey, what's this? Got no hair on his body.
They can be dangerous, I'm told, but they don't really strike me as dangerous. They're heavier than our monkeys back home. They got like short tails, and they're the ones, if you've ever seen them, they like to go in the steam baths.
Oh no, I've never seen that. Steam bath.
Kind of weird. It's kind of cute, actually. They have like natural hot springs, and then the monkeys just like to chill in them. But they kind of stay away from the humans here. They stay in the mountains, whereas our monkeys will like really get into our cities. So
yeah, because I mean, yeah. So no, I just mean out here. If you are somewhere closer to the mountains, I mean, you have baboons and stuff just like in your back garden, like looking through your stuff, trying to get into the kitchens. So yeah, I don't know why that's different. But and what were you doing before?
They kind of more like baboons than the vervet monkeys, I'd say. But they're kind of cute. Like all the animals in Japan, they seem like they don't have natural predators. Everything's kind of cute.
Yeah, because that's actually what I was trying to go towards. Is like, is there predators there? I mean, isn't there like jaguars and?
The bear is probably the biggest threat. I don't think anything else. There are like I think natural Japanese cats, but they're like smaller ones,
like civets or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you've obviously been to a wet market.
Sorry?
Have you been to a wet market before? I mean, this is what.
Well, Japan it's like, yeah, you gotta. When I was in China, I was amazed by how really disgusting their markets are.
Really? Give us a picture of something.
But I mean, I ate it gladly. Like some of the stuff was really delicious.
Like what? What's delicious? Like if I'm walking through, and they're like, "Hey, come try this." Which one do I move towards?
You kind of don't know what you're eating most of the time. It's like a seashell with some things inside of it, and maybe like it looks like it's melted cheese, but they don't eat cheese, so like it's definitely not.
Oh damn!
But the everyday food there, like the stir fries, that's cool. I can get into that. It's when it's a special occasion that's when it's the really crazy stuff breaks out. It's
like the
boss out, it takes you out for dinner, and there's like a little pig's brain there in dry ice, and it's all like steamy coming out of the water.
Oh!
Take a little bit of brain, dip it in the hot sauce, and drink. Yeah, like raw brains, and like you can get sick from that. So
I wouldn't be surprised.
What did I see? A guy driving on a motorbike. He had half a pork or a pig, like just laying on the back seat, like over the bike, like that. I'm probably eating that.
Oh my gosh! Because I did see.
But Japan's different. It's totally clean.
Yeah, I saw this video of they had like those civet cats.
Yeah.
They've got the civet cats in this cage on top. Right under it is chickens, and then right under that was like some weird lizard-looking thing.
I never got used to seeing the way they treated animals.
Oh my gosh!
Like cats in cages and on leashes. Like I've never seen a cat on a leash. In China, that's like standard. Also, pet theft is a big issue there. So the girl I was dating at the time, she phoned me one day and she was just like screaming with like in hysterics. And I instantly knew something had happened to her little puppy. And it just went missing. Like someone must have just grabbed it.
Yeah, like
probably sold it, not eaten it. I wouldn't say eaten, but like the pet trade, like if there's money to be made, like Chinese people are on it.
And so what's the difference between, because I mean you said you were in China first and now you're in Japan, so what's the difference? Because normally Japan, they make it seem like it's this it's more westernized type of place, it's clean.
Yeah, it's kind of worlds apart. They to me they look very similar, but I can tell exactly who's who by the way they're acting once you're used to the culture, I guess. Yeah, everything here is clean, jacked up. There's no litter on the street. Everybody waits, obeys the rules, lines up. If like the little red man on the street is red, there's no cars for a kilometer. They will wait. Like it's just no the trend. Whereas in China, everyone's just jumping the queue. It's just like the system is not to be followed.
And that's why you left, or did you just feel you needed to move on?
Yeah, I was just keep on checking out new places.
So what set you off on this journey? Obviously, you were in South Africa, and then what got you to be like, hey, let's go, let's get out of here, let me see what's out there? Because I mean, it's a big dream to a lot of people to just, I mean, what you're doing now is actually kind of cool. You get to see these things.
Yeah, definitely. before I studied, I was in the States, and then I just always wanted to travel, and I learned teaching in Japan, in Asia as an avenue. So while I was at university, the entire time was like, you got to study until like 5 a.m. sometimes, and you like just keep doing it. You're going to travel later. So that was like my motivation. And as soon as I graduated, I took the first offer I got. It was like, I had one job in Korea. Like that's in 6 months, or you can be in China in 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, I'll be in China.
Anything just to get over there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just like start getting experience and meeting people, and yeah.
But I mean, that's crazy. And you were in America. Oh yeah, you said you were in Florida.
Yeah, I did like one of those hospitality in Florida things. I don't know. It's kind of another popular thing for young people in South Africa.
So you a chef? I know, like.
No, Dave's a chef. I always work front of house. That's how we.
Okay.
At one point, yeah.
So that's how you guys know each other, working in the same place.
Yeah. Well, we kind of from the same hometown as well, so it's just small town. Everyone knew each other, you know.
As it is out there. Cool guy though. It's one of my good mates, David.
Yeah, super chilled. I actually, before I left, I made a mission down to Hermanus to check him. I didn't tell him I was coming. Well, I did. I told him I was coming in a few months, and then when I got there, I found him, and he was actually in Franschhoek doing another job. I was like, damn, dude, I came. So I missed it. So I haven't actually seen him for years. So.
Years, yeah.
That's one positive thing about the coronavirus is people have been hitting me up, and I've been hitting up other people that like kind of fallen off the radar. Everyone's just had a bit more time for each other. Yeah. Like more willing to take that call. So that's been really good.
Which is actually interesting because it's the same thing has happened with me. So now obviously on WhatsApp and stuff, we got all these groups and, people just sending everything and you kind of take it for granted. Now all of a sudden my groups, everybody's chatting again. Everybody's just looking for that contact, for that talk, which is, one of the basis for this podcast that I do now. It's just talking and stuff. You can be online and I always look at it this way. Sometimes people are talking and you kind of start overhearing them and you kind of just interested in what they're busy talking about and you just listen. Eavesdropping, call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
So now you can look at this exactly the same. Someone's online, they see the two of us busy talking. You're talking about wet markets and things. There's something to listen to.
Yeah, I cycle to work and I'm normally listening to a podcast when I go to work. It's like
what you into?
There's a lot of it's American stuff, to be honest. I should do more stuff, but it's a good medium. It's not. I'm like cooking something. It's just makes sense.
Yeah, and I don't even know. I can tell everybody right now, the world isn't going to go back to what you knew before this. Everybody keeps saying it's going to go, I can't wait till it goes back. But it's already changed. And I don't mean in completely that drastic, but you're going to see a lot of different things implemented now. I'm still even wondering these big sports events, when's that going to come back? When are you going to have all these people?
Shame for Liverpool. Liverpool are doing so well.
Yeah.
It's kind of ruined the party, didn't it? I heard in the States they're making moves to get the baseball going again. But how are we going to put people in the stadiums?
I think this is the way they're going to do it. You're going to be able to sit like this, and it's probably going to be VR. And you're going to they're going to put you in the stadium, and you're going to, whatever price you pay, will put you closer or further away or whatever. That's what I think is going to happen.
Maybe we'll get there. That would be kind of weird because then you could put a capacity way beyond the actual stadium. It's
and you're selling more. You could sell more tickets that way.
Yeah, exactly.
The UFC, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm just super into mixed martial arts. I used to fight myself, but they did the first event now. on
Okay, I saw
last
a
week,
highlight. Okay, right.
and
So,
well, it just broke up for a second. I didn't hear you.
oh, sorry. Yeah, but they get a lot of cash from pay-per-view there. I mean, people pay to watch that anyway, right?
Yeah, they would. But I mean, isn't it like that with sort of any sport? I mean,
Yeah, like last year they had the Rugby World Cup here in South Africa, and I'm kicked myself now for not going to watch because we ended up winning it. But
yeah,
I had
crazy.
just arrived. I didn't really know anyone, so I was going to buy a ticket for myself and then go on my ace to the game, which I probably should have just done.
Dude, you should have just done that. That would have been insane.
But the thing is, then you're going to be sitting with all these Japanese people, and Japanese people are like, they're really like polite and nice and sweet and everything, but they don't really, like, they're not like wild rugby supporters, you know.
Oh yeah,
Different
like
vibe.
the 2-hand clap.
Yeah, no, they cool. They're really cool, but yeah, it's just a bit because tickets were like $300-400 for the Springbok game, so it's like, yeah, am I getting that experience that I would back home? Because that was actually a job that I did with Dave. We were at Absa Stadium for the Sharks. We worked with Mr. Price and won a couple of their rugby boxes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I thought you were just setting up your story. But the thing is, from what I've seen in certain events, when they have, say, a UFC in Japan, the crowd is quiet. In America, it's loud. People are drinking, getting drunk, swearing, screaming. In Japan, you can literally hear every punch land. And it's not even like, okay, this last event they did, there was no fans.
Even they like that. In the subways, it's silent. Like everyone's packed in there, like no one can move, and you can hear a pin drop. It's just in public they're quiet.
I would feel
downtown Tokyo, midday, crowds of people. All the cars are like electric down there as well, so you can hear the wind blowing through the building.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's really unsettling at first, but you get used to it.
How long do you
that was one of the things they were worried about was the crowd support in the World Cup going to be like, would they be proud of it?
Oh, yes. But I mean, like, from what I saw in the crowd, you had your people who flew over and they were going crazy. And I think it started like
people
affecting.
Just put seats around so they could be together. I think, yeah.
And how long do you see yourself out there?
That's I kind of got lucky on this one. In the run up to the Olympic Games, which obviously has been cancelled, they were issuing 3-year visas, and so I didn't even know I was getting a 3-year visa until I got my passport back and looked at it. And I was like, oh wait, that's valid for 3 years. It's like, yeah, I'll do that.
And when was that? Like,
I arrived about a year ago, so I got 2 more years to go.
2 more years. That's, I mean,
it's not time to learn the language, to be honest.
Isn't that like a whole other thing? The language.
They have 3 alphabets here. It's nuts.
3 alphabets.
Yeah, they have like 2 Japanese ones and then a Chinese one, and then they also use English characters for naming stuff. So there's hiragana, katakana, kanji, and the Western alphabet. So it's a big like thing to do it. People do it all the time, but it's a big, like, it's a commitment.
Yeah. And I mean, so you've obviously seen the difference now. And I was having a conversation with someone the other day about just how the culture is there. And obviously, so there's this whole thing, you know, Tinder and things like this, right?
Right, yeah.
like, where are you going with this?
Okay, I actually have a funny story about that. But
yeah, so basically what I heard is that sometimes when you're in like these sort of countries that's westernized, you know, it's weird to even go up and, oh shit. But so basically you'll be here and it's kind of like you don't approach because, you know, girls they're weird here, you know. You don't know if you like encroaching on their space and stuff. And
right, yeah. There's like a time and a place for it, you know. There's if it's Friday at 9 o'clock at the bar, it's okay, and then maybe.
But
Like,
even at the bar, it's like you never know when it comes to these Western cultures whether it's like you harassing someone.
yeah, and it's also the last few years of the Me Too stuff, maybe a little bit more tense than usual.
But then I heard in these other countries, like you can probably give me more clarity now, that it's everybody's more open. Everybody just kind of gets it. Everybody knows this courtship happens. You know, you will be approached and all these type of things.
Yeah, I could put different countries in like a sort of
A bracket. Okay, cool.
spectrum. Like, so America is like the most open, I would say. Like, there's pretty much fair to like go up, and people have day game, and they kind of
Day game.
call each other out the street and stuff. And I don't know, maybe it works for them, I guess. But yeah, it's a lot easier in America, I found. Japan's not like that, but Tinder in Japan is used more as a friendship app. That's a weird thing. They took it and they were just like, but no one's looking for hookups. And then Thailand, yeah, Thailand's pretty nuts when it comes to dating. It's pretty loose.
Is it? That's what I heard. That's why my brother was there, and he was like on a video call with me, and he's like, check this place out. And I'm like, okay. So he starts walking around, and I'm just looking. I'm like, wow, there's some dime pieces in this video. And this one beautiful one just comes walking up to him, and it's like, oh, what you doing? He's like, hey, say hello to my brother. And I start having this conversation with a chick who, honestly, if I was here in Cape Town and I had to meet her, she would, she would first see what car I have. And
Right. Okay,
you know how it goes. It's all this. That's what I mean by like this westernized thing.
Yeah, they're a lot more unassuming, and I think as a foreigner abroad, you have some means about you anyway.
Oh, a little bit of clout. Like, oh, okay, who's this?
Yeah, it's like the worldly traveler guy. It's kind of you're a little bit cool.
Yeah. So, what's the story you wanted to say about Tinder?
Yeah, it was the difference between Thailand and Japan. So in Thailand, playing on Tinder, even for a guy like myself, I'm getting like 70 matches a day or something.
70.
Yeah, it's like raining women. It's
holy
insane.
Shit.
And you can get used to that, hey? Not that I was getting results, but as I arrived in Tokyo, the matches just stopped. Like it's zero, like one or two. It was just, so I was like wondering what happened. Like, was it me?
Like, is it me?
I went on Google and I just like found an image of a hot guy. That's what I wrote, like hot guy. And I got someone who looked a little bit like me, but a way better version of me with a proper photo and everything.
Oh, so you were catfishing.
Yeah. And I got a few more matches, but nothing really different. And then I just kind of forgot about it. And then I was playing on Tinder later on, like a few months later on, and I'd go and match with people and then go on dates. But I had forgotten that I was using somebody else's photo.
Oh my goodness. And then they obviously
like Japanese are like so polite that no one ever called me out on this, so I wasn't even aware of it. And I got a few results.
Explain that.
And then people would like unmatch me afterwards. They're like, oh, I don't want to see you again. And like, because I'd probably go home, check the picture, and they'll be like, damn, that wasn't him. So yeah, it was a little bit dishonest, but so I changed
it's
back to myself now. But it's funny, I guess.
So is that just because there's less people that use it there, or?
I'm sure there's guys that are doing amazing on the dating apps. Tinder's not great because it's like the friendship app. Sense of Tokyo, you get tons of matches. But Bumble is like the one the foreigners all use.
Yeah, Bumble. On Bumble, you can literally have a friend.
Talk and they don't want to meet up. It's just like it's validation. You get a match, and then nobody's actually serious about. Yeah, and now with coronavirus, everyone's matching. no one wants to meet up anyway. So it's like, why are you doing this?
That's what I was saying. I was just like, I even made something on my bio along the lines of, now it's a perfect time for me just to, admire you from afar, but that's as much as it's gonna get to.
Sweet.
And now I'm getting more matches because of it. It's like, what?
Because you're not actually.
No, because I'm like, I don't really want to meet you, but it's just nice to swipe right on your picture. And I mean, most of that. No, I mean, I'm just saying most of the swiping is just to like get bumps of dopamine anyways,
Right. I checked out the stats for it, actually. It's like the number one reason people do it is they're bored. Number two is validation.
Yeah.
Number three is they want to get laid. Number four is long-term relationship. It's like, that's way at the bottom.
Like, who is on that? And I know there's probably some good people out there, but this is my thing. If a girl is like, and people can say whatever they want, whatever, lynch me, but if a chick on Tinder is super hot, like a 10, I'm gonna personally think maybe there's something else that comes with this package.
The hot ones are all plugging their Instagram, and like,
that is true. Oh, I don't really use this app. Check me on Instagram.
Get me, yeah. It's like they get on the Instagram. They're competing with like the Jenners, and they want 6 million followers. And it's like,
I never, like, you actually just gave me that perspective now, because I keep seeing it. I'm like, what is going on here? I don't really go on this app. Check my Instagram. And it's just, people are dopamine addicts, dude. All these chicks.
Yeah.
Like, all the guys as well.
Instagram like a year ago because someone asked me to. I'm like, actually don't really social media. I have like all my WhatsApp chat groups with my friends and stuff, and I like to keep it real like that.
Yeah.
But Instagram is, if you're comparing yourself to the lifestyle that those people on Instagram are having, it's pretty rough. Like,
it's depression. you go straight into the rabbit hole, dude.
I feel for like teenage girls especially.
That's terrible.
Like, they're stuck at school, and then there's these glamorous lifestyles that they're aspiring to that is not for everyone. Eh?
And it's not. And it's like, as you said, they're looking for validation. And now to them, you're being raised in it. A lot of these kids, like 10, 15 years ago, I mean, they were born. And their parents were posting their everything from when they were babies walking.
Yeah, right.
Now, all of a sudden, you're at school now and you see, hey, but that chick over there is getting all these likes and stuff. Okay, maybe there's something wrong with me.
Yeah, it's something that we warned about as we like becoming teachers, just to play the social media game carefully. Like, don't add people below the age of 18. It only takes like one accusation to a teacher, and it can be career destroying.
And I mean, you are in the teaching game now as well, right?
Yeah, but we can talk about that. But for the youngsters, it's like the bullying at school used to be like kept within the school. So if you're getting bullied, it's like 5 hours of the day. That's really, really shitty. And then you go home and you can forget about it. But now with the social media, people follow you home, and they can trash talk you, right? They can make it can get ugly, I guess. I mean, people can use any tool to be ugly. So what they do with those, I can only imagine.
I mean, that's actually very true, dude. You can't even, like, imagine you go home and you check your Facebook or something, and you're like, what the hell? These kids are still going on with me. Like,
yeah.
Cyberbullying. I mean, a lot of the time, obviously, I mean, I'll say I was bullied, like, not terribly, but it's more bullied in a sense of like, everybody's trying to be some sort of alpha male. You've got like maybe 10 guys. And so everybody's trying to clawing and fighting for these positions. And so you end up getting bullied during the process. It's not like I was someone who was just like a book nerd on the side who people would just come bully. But so a lot of the time you look at these things and you go, it's don't look into it too much. But at the end of the day, it's the social dynamics. That's what it is. It's like an evolutionary thing. It's who am I in the tribe? Why is the tribe all making fun of me?
Exactly, yeah. And the guys will do it a different way. Like the guys will bully you physically, and then the girls will hurt the girls. Like
the girls
socially.
will torture you.
They'll go after their reputations, and they'll make life really difficult for them. They know social media. Like I don't really know how to get that much out of it, but girls have got like profiles, and they keep everything tidy. They know what they're doing.
No, 100%. And also, I mean, you know how it is with chicks, dude. They pierce the soul, you know. I've seen it happen myself, and you know, sometimes as a guy, you're just looking at the girl like, hey, I know she's crazy, and it's terrible what she did to Samantha over there, but I'm just hoping to get her number.
Yeah, I was just saying, it's like if you're a guy with like no friends, the girl's gonna look at that and be like, yeah, he doesn't have any friends, so I'd probably give him a miss. But if a girl has no friends, guys are like, oh, whatever. It's like that's not a red flag.
That's the other thing. You actually reminded me of something I was thinking about. Is that like this is the dynamics now? Is that if you find a hot chick, she can be broke. You won't care. Dude, she can be literally, and this is a rough example. She can be standing on the side of the road, begging for change.
That's it.
And but if she looks amazing, you're gonna stop and be like, "Hey, what's going on?" Even if you just want to talk to her, but it'll never. If the roles are reversed, it'll never happen.
Yeah, what is it? Most women compare themselves to like the most successful men, and then men below that are actually like invisible to them. That's why you get this sort of like oppression narratives that come out, and women are being oppressed, and they're only comparing themselves to like the top guys. Like the homeless guy on the street, they don't even realize he's there. It's like
they don't consider him like a suitor at all.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah.
I mean, it also goes back to the fathers, though, right? You know, a lot of the time, like a chick who is into a dude with money and stuff, like the first prime example, she looks at her dad. Oh, look, my dad has this car. We have this house. Especially, like, say, for instance, for example, just where I stay. I'm in Durbanville. I don't know if you in Cape Town. It's like your farm area, you know. So you got people with horses and stuff.
You used to go to Fishhook a lot, Durbanville. I know the Durbanville Hills wine.
Yes, so
that one.
So that's Durbanville. We have like the wine farms out here and everything. So you got that sort of culture here. I mean, if I run up, because I run every morning, if I just run up the hill here, you see children on horses, like, you know.
Oh, nice.
So it's like I've had to deal with that, obviously, growing up. And I always wondered, like, what's going on here? And it's one of the reasons I asked you in the first place, because someone told me, don't worry about the girls where you are. Go to a different spot, and then you will see it's not you that's, like, the problem. You don't have to keep running off.
Okay, you're right.
You know, like, if you go to Thailand, you can actually go and have an open conversation, and you could actually court someone and move ahead with it.
Yeah.
And it's
with the Chinese girls is that they're super fascinated by foreigners. They're like quite mesmerized, like having blue eyes or something like that is extremely like wow for them. But then they're actually not that interesting. They have a very limited life experience, and it's all very similar to the next girl's life experience. It's a bit weird. So you get the attention, but then it's like,
but we can't really talk. But shouldn't you just, I mean, I don't know, I'll just give them a bag of mushrooms or something and be like, hey, let's talk.
Oh, geez, you're playing with fire there. I can't imagine. I gave the girl I was dating half a bumble, and that's kind of serious because that guy probably had some good stories. He was like a Estonian in China selling ecstasy.
Holy.
But we did it the one time, and she really enjoyed it. But I wouldn't give her like a psychedelic. That would be too much.
No, but that's the thing. I feel like the psychedelic might actually.
Yeah, she might realize that like China's an interesting place, man. It's like there's some pretty crazy rules there.
Like what though? Like, all I get to hear is what they say on the media and stuff, and I take all that with a pinch of salt. Like, so to be able to speak to someone who's surveillance. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's the internet's blocked, so you can't really get out. I mean, you can get a VPN installed on your phone, and you can do it if you're really serious about it. But yeah, there's like a media, like an information wall that news doesn't come in. They don't know about the outside world. It's kind of strange.
And so for you, right? You get to China now. You want to type something in. Is YouTube available?
No. I looked for my hometown high school website blocked. Like 90% of the internet is blocked.
What? So like, and they obviously get given their own type of media outlet. So like, how does that?
Yeah. So
they have their own YouTube. Okay.
Their own WhatsApp. They have their own YouTube. Everything's a ripoff of something else, but they work. They're good. So it's not like they're bad platforms, but they encourage not to talk to the outside world. A lot of video game companies have created separate servers for China and the outside users because they don't want users talking to each other.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
It's actually dark. And what about this other thing that about the 21 million cell phones that like?
I think they're not people disappearing, but it's people losing their right to have a cell phone.
Oh, and
yeah, if you get bad boy points, and if you get enough bad boy points, they take away your stuff.
Is it called bad boy points?
No, it's like a social credit score.
Oh, I was like, what the hell, China?
But effectively, there's good boy points and there's bad boy points, and everything is being tallied up always, which is only a new thing. Only came out in like the last year, actually. But yeah, if you don't have enough score, you can't buy train tickets, and they know because they control the WhatsApp, so they know who's on your friend list.
Oh my gosh, that is so dark.
That's negative on you.
So do they judge you by your friends?
Yeah, and then your wallet is on your WhatsApp as well, so you pay everything by scanning it. Yeah. So they have a full record of your transactions. So if you're buying too much alcohol, it's bad. If you're buying like baby food, it's good.
That is
pretty nice.
Terrible, dude.
But they also encourage like consumerism. It's like it's kind of weird because they were like incredibly poor like 30, 40 years ago. So this is like first generation wealth that they have.
Oh,
they've got there's a lot of money in China. It's huge, but they don't really have hobbies, like fly fishing or bikepacking or whatever you're into. You might spend your money on like your little niche thing that you're interested in.
Yeah.
They don't really have that. It's just like consumerism, like Louis Vuitton bags and expensive cars. It's face value stuff.
So you're saying there's very little depth, and I mean maybe there is
exactly.
someone
I went fishing in China. This was a really strange experience. So, like you don't go to a river. There's no fighting. It's like a fish farm.
Yeah. And
then the owner just doesn't feed the fish for a few days, so they're like super hungry.
What
and then your rod doesn't have a reel. It's just a piece of string attached to the thing. You throw it in, the fish comes, and the fish was like so weak or domesticated, it didn't even fight. It just was like, okay, you can eat.
Like, please kill me.
And they've got like a barbecue right there, throw it on them, and they cut it. That's fishing.
Oh my gosh, dude! My fishing I do in Red Dead Redemption 2. It seems like it's way more intense than that type of fishing, dude.
Yeah,
I'm actually fighting this.
They're into fly fishing, crafting your own little things, spending a day out there trying to catch one like trout. Like give the fish as much chance as can have. It's a man versus
No, but I
wild.
mean, that's the thing. It's like that's the sport behind it. It's the same as like I saw these like I hate it, but it's like the canned hunting in South Africa.
Yeah.
So basically, you'll go to someone's farm. He's got like maybe 50 lions on there. That's all.
It's so lucrative for them.
Yeah, and then you go out and they say, okay, you can go hunt, and then you basically just killing the dude's pets. And then people pose with the lions.
Americans will pay like 50 grand to come and do that, right? 100.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Yeah, I could never kill such a beautiful creature. Like, a cockroach is easy to kill, and then it's weird.
And is there anything they don't eat? That's what I want.
Look, I lived in a city of like 20 million people, and I only saw one dog restaurant. So it's not as widespread as we'd believe, and it's more to an area. And I wouldn't even have known if it was a dog restaurant unless my girlfriend told me it was. But yeah, the food in my province, there's 4 types of Chinese food. The one I was like famous for spicy food, and
it's like the Indian side of it.
yeah, it was crazy hot, insanely hot actually. Food was actually really good. That was like the thing they were into, and they weren't. It wasn't as crazy as other parts of China. So I guess it's what you find in different places. But yeah,
what are the other 3?
Crabs, they like that. I had a friend, my American friend. He would eat everything. It was kind of crazy.
Have you had bat before?
No. That's it, huh?
I'd like at the end of the day, I'm someone who might try it, although I have like a very good like connection to dogs. I don't know. I've just always liked dogs.
Yeah. To the dogs.
And I don't know if I could, just because it would be like going against myself. But it's at the same time, I eat a cow, I eat sheep,
Uh-huh.
and it's like, it doesn't mean just because I look at something with no heart, you could say, that it makes it right or wrong. Bullfrog leg.
Yeah, it's like the French are doing that. The Chinese are also doing it.
I saw a disturbing video of a guy goes at the wet market. He's with a camera, and he's like walking, and he's like talking, and he's like vlogging, and he's like pointing, like he picks up the bullfrog, and he's like, and he just, dude, he like bites its top face. It's like its face here, right? And he just goes, and he just pulls this thing's whole face off, and he eats the meat raw. He's like, yeah, this is good quality. And then he just starts walking to the next thing.
Yeah, that's man.
I'm like,
I did ask one of my students, like, you actually got to be careful when you do this. And I asked the Chinese guy, what's the craziest thing you ever ate? And so he's like, yeah, it's kind of like illegal now, so you can't really do it. But back in the day, they used to go to the hospital, and like out the back, they would sell you the placenta
of a baby.
Yeah, like the birth stuff, and then they would like make that into like a soup.
Because I know that
human.
Dude, what? I mean, of course it has to be illegal now, dude. Like,
yeah, that probably still happens though.
And think about the nurses and stuff who, like, the baby's born and they like stockpiling on the side buckets of it to go sell. That's so dark, dude. That is
yeah.
Placenta. Oh my word. And like, I know a lot of them, it's like vitality, it's like, oh, this is where life comes from, the placenta.
But they usually use a sheep for that. Because when I was in Taiwan, I found like skincare products that were made out of sheep's placenta. But yeah, in mainland the human. I mean, it's illegal, so I'm sure they're not that. I'm surprised he told me about it. We had a good relationship, so he was like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, wow, I had to like check him, look him in the eye a few times. Okay, cool.
Dude, he's essentially a cannibal.
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy, but
he's like when I was new here, he's like, we went around, he helped me like go shopping for furniture. He was like, no, you can't pay those prices. You're gonna go. He would flip things on the internet, like buy Ming vases and stuff, and then sell them on other websites and like make money.
Like triple the price.
So like buying second hand was like his game. So he was like, no, you can't go to that. Like, let me take you and find you a good deal. So,
yeah, that would actually be decent to have someone like that with you.
Yeah, actually very cool.
I was gonna say something now. Back to the placenta thing. Yeah, just because, I mean, a lot of the time you hear about obviously the rhino poaching and all these things, and then but I haven't actually heard directly what it's for. I know they say it gives you like vitality and makes, you know.
I think that's more of a problem in Vietnam, actually. Yeah.
Vietnam.
I think it's like a libido kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Well, I heard two reasons. I heard the one, it's like, you know, it makes a man like super erect and gives you that power. Then on the other hand, it's more of like how can I say? It's more of a status thing. Like, oh, I'm drinking rhino horn. You know what I mean? It's, you know, you have like a certain status because only some people can afford that.
Because they all about that stuff. Like they totally. Because even because being friends with a foreigner in China is like a status in itself. Like so, I would continually be taken out to dinner by people. Like,
no way.
Yeah, I went to one time. My brother visited me, and the mayor. We were the first foreigners to ever come to that town. So the mayor came out and he was like, no, we need to go for special dinner. And then I know what's happening. Special dinner
in China.
Crazy stuff coming. Yeah. That's China. But they have the same face culture pretty much all over Asia. So status and where people sit on the table and their relationship, it's what they like continually thinking about. It's like what drives them. It's like how can they elevate the
So basically you won't meet someone along the lines where you're like, hey, let's discuss the universe and what you really think about life and in-depth sort of things. That you're telling me that's like
that kind of universe and morality is really it's
non-existent there.
Maybe because I'm only sort of limiting myself to English conversations. If I knew
that is true.
In Chinese, maybe a different story. Here's an interesting contrast. So this is a thing they have. So you're standing by the river with your mother and your wife, and a big like tidal wave comes down the river and knocks the two ladies into the river. You have enough time to save one of them. Who do you save? Your mother or your wife?
The wife, I guess. Cause
why?
Well, because my mother. I mean, obviously it's terrible. Sorry, Mom, but like this, I'm looking at what can continue, what is new, what can.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like I can replace the mom with the daughter, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. One has the like more like productive.
Yeah.
So in China, the correct answer is your mother. And it's actually a question which they ask lawyers on the bar exam or the equivalent.
Yeah.
And if they get it wrong, they can't be a lawyer in China.
So I can't be a lawyer in China now. What the hell? but what I said made sense.
Like blood is blood, and like that is the bond that is primary. Like that's the way. Your loyalty to your family is, which is weird because they live in a communist country, kind of. But
that's so. Man,
different moral thing. So kind of difficult. Yeah.
And
But,
have you ever been to the Wuhan festival when you were in China?
no, I never went to Wuhan. Yeah, I was actually quite far away there. Big place, and I was like over 1,000 miles away, probably.
And this is the issue, though, is that it's people take this broad stroke when it comes to Asia. And I think this is the real issue because, I mean, a lot of things like people discuss about Chinese people, you find out it's only Japanese people do that. And then everybody's like, it's all the same. But first of all, it's very racist. And second of all, it won't help you to understand the people any better, you know?
Well, Japanese are pretty much the opposite to Chinese in most of the ways. But then if you ask them who's most similar, they'll say like Chinese people are the most similar as well. So it's a bit difficult for people.
Yeah. And so you were in Korea, right?
I was just in Korea for like a week. I climbed a mountain, came back. I had a little adventure.
Okay, cool. Because I know some people who went to Korea and they were they said you could. They were like, there was a time in the day when there's like this one bridge you cross that's in one city, and it has like these like water effects on the side, and they just light it up with colors. And you walk, and people can drink in the street, and you can be hammered. This is what I heard. You can be hammered out of your mind, lying on the floor, as long as you aren't causing trouble with anybody. It's fine. Like, I don't know how much truth is in that.
That's probably true. In China, it's like that as well. That's the kind of the mind thing of it, because it is like a police state, surveillance state. There's cameras everywhere, but you could get drunk and run naked down the street. As long as you'd be fine. Like, nobody actually wants the police to get involved in anything, but there's just like heavy security around everywhere. Korea, they have a drinking culture there. It's pretty standard. Like pretty much every company after they finish work, like it's frowned upon if you just go home.
Oh my gosh! Like you have to come hungover.
Yeah, you got to drink with the team.
Well, I mean, I guess.
My friend calls them kimchi flowers. In the morning, there's little like puddles of vomit on the floor.
Oh my gosh!
Everywhere around the city, there's like kimchi flowers.
on the way to work, you're having a conversation. Excuse me. Yeah, what was that?
Japan is a little different because the subways, they stop at midnight or just after, and it sucks. You either go out until midnight, which is never really quite long enough, or you go out until 5:30, which is like a bender. Yeah, because so you can't travel home, is what you're saying. If you out
get
a taxi, Tokyo is like the most expensive taxi city in the world. I think it's ridiculous. Like, if I got a taxi to the airport from my house, it would cost me like $500. The same as a flight.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. And is there not Uber there?
Uber's same price. Yeah, Uber's mad expensive.
So it's like they trying to push people away from using that type of things, or is it just they're taking chances?
It's just 35 million people in one city. It's like if everyone was using taxis, no one would be doing anything. Like it just.
And so the thing is, that's what I actually remembered now. Thank fuck. There's this forest. I think it's in Japan, like the suicide forest or something. Have you been there? And like, is it true?
No, but it's nearby somewhere. Let me just Google it, where it is. I'll tell you if I've been there.
Yeah, because obviously I've only really heard about it from that one Logan Paul video.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that one. He was so badly behaved in Japan because he was like running around throwing fish at people, and that's kind of like nobody misbehaves here. It's like kind of immature as well. But
then again, and he's a foreigner. He's a foreigner, so now they look at him like to be on some sort of level, like, oh, hey, it's... But then he's throwing fish at us.
Justin Bieber is actually banned from China.
What?
For like racing a Ferrari or something, yeah. It's interesting.
No, it's true.
I'm trying to get the. Okay, let's see. It has a real name. It's called Aokigahara.
Suicide forest.
Yamanashi. Okay, so it's just north of Mount Fuji. I haven't been there, but I've been pretty close.
Like when I hear stuff like that, Mount Fuji, I'm thinking like it's some movie, you know.
Mount Fuji is the famous one with like just that single volcano that's always snow.
I see it. Yeah.
Iconic symbol of Japan. Yeah, it's like an hour and a half from me. I've been to the lakes nearby, but not actually through there.
So how would you say that? Okigahara. Aokigahara.
Aokigahara. Yeah, Aokigahara.
I'm just thinking of Steve Aoki. It's like he spells his name like that.
Is Steve Aoki Japanese? Well, like he's from LA, but like Japanese ethnicity.
I think he is. Well, let me just Google this stuff. Steve Aoki. Yeah, but he's super westernized. Like.
Yeah. He seems like an LA person to me. But Japanese have quite a strong relationship with California. They like it, Los Angeles.
And also, I was actually going to say the K-pop thing. That's huge these days, the Korean pop.
Yeah, K-pop's bigger than the J-pop now.
Oh, is that how they do it? Like just the...
Yeah, the J-pop's quite... it's not really something I'm into, but the K-pop looks more entertaining anyway, so...
Yeah, they have these like K-pop con where it's like a Comic Con for K-pop stars.
Yeah.
But there's a very high suicide rate though with those guys, which is terrible. It's a rough. So
it's a really serious job if you want to be in one of these K-pop, J-pop things. And they have a law in Japan. Well, it's not a law, but you join these groups. There's people coming in and out of the group. The group stays the same, but over a year, they can last 20 years. It's just people coming in and out. Some of them are not allowed to spend their money until they're 25 because so many people take advantage of them.
Oh, yeah.
And it's super hard work. So it's like they're the stars, but they're actually not that wealthy. They're not big spenders in the way that the American stars are. It's kind of strange.
And also what I heard is why there's the suicide rate is very high is because they get these kids when they're young. They're fresh, they're looking good. They always pick the ones who look the best. Then they get older, and they say an old age for a K-pop star is 21, 22, 23. And then they immediately start looking towards someone to replace them. Those people grow up and they just kill themselves because they're like, I was the star. Now no one even knows who I am. Yeah. And that's where the depression comes in.
Yeah, I remember that when I was in China, they were all obsessing about some boy group. It was 3 kids, and they looked like they were in grade 9. I was
what exactly are they doing other than...
They have little outfits, baby blue outfits, little suits, and they do
everybody posed,
Yeah, and it's all high production value stuff, and yeah.
The concerts are probably stacked with all these girls trying to get closer to the stars.
Yeah, because it's like the taste thing we're talking about. They don't have that diversified taste. Nobody's into fly fishing and fixing up cars and whatever the interests that people take. It's everyone's just applying themselves oh, K-pop, that's the thing. And then there's...
And why do you think that is, if you had to guess? Is it just because it's so controlled that...
Yeah, that's one of them. And I think it takes a few generations to develop these interests. I think it'll just get there in time.
Oh, because you said they kind of first generation. They only 40 years ago started getting into all of this.
It's not like they're growing up with grandparents who are showing them painting and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, China's weird because they kind of erased their culture.
Erased it? What do you mean?
They went around and killed everyone that was
I mean, I'm not laughing because of people dying. It's just
Yeah, but that's like seriously what
and you're like, what the
all
hell?
the teachers, all like the creative people get like removed. So a lot of the culture didn't get passed on, and they just started from scratch, and it's been replaced with like a kind of materialism. It's kind of sad, actually.
Yeah, because I mean, and that's like out here you get, well, even in my neighborhood now, you've just got this like rise in Asian families everywhere. You know, it's like, you know, sushi shops have opened up now. Well, I mean, and this is like over the years now. I mean, it would start with your normal internet cafe. You know, you had one internet cafe in the town, you know, run by an Asian family. No one else worked there, you know. You literally see the kids running around in the internet cafe to then start working behind the counter. Then you'll see, oh, there's a sushi place opening, and it's like the kids have now, the father has bought that business now, and it's just growing and growing, and now everywhere you look, it's, and I've always wanted to actually sit down and talk to one of them and actually just pick their brain on what is it that you think of the world, because you've grown up here in South Africa now. So what, like, you know what, I want to see the depth, you know. I don't just want to see this, like, as you described, people who everything is just kind of on the surface.
Yeah, but I guess China has so many people. They've like exported people to like every country in the world. Everywhere you go in the world, there's Chinese people.
Oh, I believe Chinese people rule the world.
Yeah, they like, yeah, in a sense they do.
That's what I'm actually trying to, I want to learn Mandarin.
Southeast Asia, all like Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, to extent Thailand, it's the Chinese ethnicity that is the wealthy class.
Yeah.
Like, business minded, like finance is their passion. They don't really have anything outside of that.
Because I know a chick as well who they came over here, not here to Cape Town, but in South Africa. They came over here and with her grandpa and like their whole family, and now they've got a huge like sort of a wholesalers, massive building, just fully running. And
it just shows you though, hey, because like we complain about in South Africa, there's no opportunity, and then how they do.
And that's the thing, because, and the one thing that I have noticed with a lot of them is that, especially with the grandparents, they don't spend. You know, it's like you were saying, they live almost like this humble, poor life when they're here. But I mean, they're probably making a lot of numbers with these businesses. And then only eventually you'll see, okay, maybe the grandpa dies and now, oh, here's a nice car. The dad's bought a nice car now. And the daughters are going to a good school. And you start seeing the change over. And then like the little kids, because like I've got friends actually from Thailand. They like grew up here. And you see the difference, like. But that's the thing, they have no culture. They have no like recollection of the China or Taiwanese, or Thailand, whatever you call that.
Do they speak Thai with their parents? Whatever, they must speak the language. But yeah, it's
no, it's like they're completely removed from that. There's not even like anything you can pick up from them that's Thailand. It's like you're talking to a South African kid with a.
Yeah, but the Chinese don't. They Chinese would stay Chinese.
That's, yeah, I don't know. There's actually a hot chick who works here at the sushi restaurant, and I walk past, and so I walked past the other day, and I look in, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's that chick again. Like, she's pretty beautiful. And then I go in to talk to her. So I'm like, how can I open up and actually talk to her? So I'm like, I'll grab a menu, you know. So I go in there and I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? and she just stares at me. How can I help you? Like, she can't speak a little bit of English. I'm like, everything good today? Like, just staring at me, waiting for me to give the order of what I want. And I'm like, I'm just going to grab this. And I walked out and I'm like, there was no exchange at all. You know, I kind of felt like shit.
Sounds like a swing and a miss, man.
Dude, it was bad. And now I'm like avoiding that place completely.
Yeah.
But also another thing is, like, I was at the airport. I flew into Cape Town maybe a couple of months ago when I got back from where I was. And then I started actually seeing, because I mean, first with this whole Corona thing, it was, WhatsApp videos. And then it was kind of like, oh, people are just talking about these things. Then I got to the airport and I saw people actually wearing masks and stuff. So then it started getting a little bit more real. And just coming back, actually, I forgot what I was actually trying to say now. But
people?
No, where do you think things are going,
I think the worst of it is behind now. I think we're reopening up slowly, and I think that's good. I would be okay if it happened a bit faster. Japan, where my immediate surroundings, not much changes will happen here because they already had like mask culture and hygiene stuff. And I think those are the kind of things that need to be adopted permanently in the West and in South Africa. Like every flu season, I think you'll see people wearing masks.
Dude, I mean, it makes sense. And I actually saw that information the other day because, like, a lot of these sort of pictures you see of these people in Japan, and they're wearing that clothes. They wear the skinny jeans and the silver and gold type of jackets.
Yeah.
And then you see them with those masks on, and that was from way before all of this.
Dressed like super urban gangster, and then it's like they wearing a mask. It's kind of they're not as intimidating. I think that'll be common throughout the world. I'm interested to see how much backlash there really is against China, because Australia is really pissed off. Japan is incentivizing their companies to come back or not do business with China. Trump's always blaming China. There was just another professor the other day that was caught selling secrets to China from American universities. So they getting in trouble. Sweden just expelled the Confucius Institute, which is like a sort of soft propaganda wing of Chinese government, or not government, but it's how they get stuff done.
Yeah.
So I think the rich countries are trying to move away, or at least they're pretending to, so that they can get a better bargaining deal with them. But I'm not actually confident that things would change. I think China's going to be very important for a long time to come. But it is interesting watching the backlash from the way things went down there.
Yeah, well, you've heard all these things. I mean, there was this other thing I saw where some dude got killed. This Chinese guy, I think it's in America. I'm also trying to stay away from too much of this media, dude. It's just, you open your phone. I open my phone and Vodacom sends me a message, stay safe. They've even, they've even changed. I don't know if you can see that. In the corner.
Oh, I saw that. No, I saw it. Yeah.
Stay safe. Nice. And you get messages every day, COVID this and COVID that, and it's like, enough is enough.
Infuriating. It's like, we're going to take away your rights because we love you. The government people buy into that, thinking that the government is somehow like compassionate for them. That's not what it's about. I had so SARS is like trying to tax South African foreigners abroad to increase their revenue, and when the coronavirus came out, I got sent by a South African person a registry of South African foreigners, official stuff. Can you please sign this? And I said, no, why would I sign that? And she said, so that they can help you in the event of like coronavirus. I was like, no, this is so they can tax me. Like, I don't, like, what are they going to do? If I get sick, is South African government going to bail me out? Are they going to get me a flight back home? Like, I don't think so. Why would they spend that kind of money on me and not people that need help back home?
Yeah.
Money is much better. Like, you know, it's expensive.
I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, they're giving out fines, dude. That's just
it's
like
the opposite of help.
you getting like a 2,500 rand fine just being on the street.
It's nuts. I saw like in Muizenberg there was that kid who like stepped off the platform. The mother grabs him and was, "Oh, you're arrested."
What?
Because he got on the sand because the daughter ran onto the sand.
Okay.
And he just went
my God.
Not allowed on the sand. And then it's all done in the name of helping and saving, and it's like, oh, you guys are not helping and saving anyone.
And it's like, I was talking to David, when was it, last night, I don't know. Like, everything is fused now. It's just this blurred lines. I don't know what days.
Yeah, the days just roll in and out. My sleeping schedule's a bit messed up.
And we would talk. I keep forgetting what I wanted to say, dude. I don't know. But that's what we were saying. Is that when people start, like, losing faith in the police, what's going to happen then, dude? When, like, and like I said then, I'm not trying to incite anything, but I saw this video of there's thousands of people on this gravel road in some weird field here in South Africa. It's a drone or a helicopter recording them, and this line just goes on and on and on and on and on. And then at the end of it, there's these trucks, like 3 trucks, and they're giving out food to these people. And you see these people are like in their overalls that they would have worn to work. And it's bad, dude. Because all those people, they can't eat now. And it's, and you're not seeing that on the news and stuff, isn't showing that.
That's disturbing, hey?
And so now imagine those people just decide to go crazy. You know, and then you're gonna have some real
crazy place to starve to death. You know, no one's just gonna starve to death and not fight back or do something.
Exactly, because I was even telling David, imagine now we have a curfew, right? So we're allowed to exercise. Listen to this. We're allowed to exercise. You're only allowed to leave your house from 6 o'clock in the morning till 9. In that time, you must walk your dogs, you must exercise, you must do everything.
Everyone at the same time, though.
Everyone at the same time. So it's, dude, you must just see. I go out here, I go running.
This is not even like load shedding logic.
And it's so weird.
At different times.
And everybody is wearing these masks, and like I'll tell you myself, dude, I feel like everybody's dirty. To me, it's like everybody's got it.
Oh yeah. Because
because that's the fear, dude. That's the fear that they're putting in my head.
I don't even blame people. When I was taking a train in Tokyo just before we actually shut down most of the stuff, and I'd sit there and I'd notice that like Japanese people weren't sitting next to me. And I'm like, okay, well, they don't know. Maybe I just got on the flight from Italy.
Yeah.
And like I just arrived now. Like, how can they know? Because to them, I'm just a foreigner. So I had to stop sitting down because every time I sat down somewhere, people would like not sit near me, and I'd take up too much space. There'd be like 3 seats, like.
Yo, dude, you must have felt so dirty. Like,
it's not
just closing up your jacket, like, I'm sick.
It's a little bit racist, but it's like I understand. It's fine.
I do the same, dude. You know what's the weirdest thing? I see this chick. She's running towards me, dude. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. Because obviously now we only have these 3 hours to train. So I mean, it's
Oh yeah, you got to get all your okay. You got to get all
and so I see her, and I'm like, holy, this like little blonde girl, like, you know, you can see she's fit, and she obviously has to go exercise. You can see it's just in her routine. And as like I start going past her, I find myself like covering up my mouth again, like turning away. I did it so automatically, and she looks at me like, is there something wrong with her? And it's just, it's just, I don't know. And what about conspiracy? Are you into that? I don't know. I like to ask people.
No, I check out whatever gets banned. Like if it's so egregious that it gets kicked off of YouTube or whatever, and it's not allowed on Facebook, then I feel like it's my duty to go check out what it is.
Yeah, like what don't you want me to see?
Yeah. It's like I'm just drawn to this. Like, oh, you don't want me to see that? I must see it. Like I wouldn't care otherwise.
And it's so stupid, like to actually do that, because let people see what they want to see, unless you have another agenda.
Look, I'm like, I'm an adult, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's this whole parenting thing. That's what it is. It's like, oh, you guys are kids. You can only go out between 6 and 9.
The CEO of YouTube is Karen.
The what?
Proper Karen. The Karen. I don't know if you saw Karen memes. Like the Karen, she always wants to see the manager.
Oh, Karen. Yeah, I've seen the meme. Yeah.
Yeah. So the YouTube boss is a proper Karen, and she's like, no. It's WHO.
Yeah. I've seen that, and they actually, you know, it's crazy. They demonetizing everybody who's like even mentions the word.
Yeah. And then you turn on like the real news, and it's all garbage.
And what do you think of this chip thing, like for the vaccine? Bill Gates
with the Bill Gates. Yeah. Well, I don't trust Bill Gates, but I don't think I don't like his like. They say he's like a philanthropist, and he gives all his money away to good charities, and he's done some good. And he probably has, but he's done it with another agenda.
Yeah.
Like, and he's bought himself a lot of power, like globalist, international, like
Illuminati type stuff,
institutions and stuff. He can pull some serious strings if he wants to. So I don't trust him.
Because there's a chip that's here in South Africa right now.
Oh really?
Like it's not. I'm not like. Don't get me wrong, people. I'm not spreading fake news. There's a video right where this guy, he's got all these like barcodes, and then they've got this syringe, and then there's this little micro chip.
I've seen like memes of that stuff.
And like it's just
ready for delivery. It's packaged, ready to go.
I'm not sure about that, but they had one, and then they showed like she pushes the syringe, and then you see this like the little chip come out, and that's supposed to go in your hand. Then I saw.
How does it help you?
So basically, it's for them. It's so weird. So basically, the vaccine will be in the chip, but then the chip will be able to scan your whole body for any diseases that you might have, and then it alerts them. This is like some of the broken information I've got. But then the other guy did a video, and it's so stupid. They banned all media from this conference in America, but like they didn't take away the people's cell phones. So the dude who was there, he just starts recording it. There's not a single camera in there. The guy just starts recording it on his phone. The dude has the chip in his hand here, and he goes, well, look at me. I'm going to send some money to my cousin. And he like takes his phone, he scans it across it, and he's like, look, I've just paid. And so
yeah. This is the scary thing where what you see in China with your digital wallet, and you don't like this is what we're all afraid of. These tech companies get access to like every piece of data about us, and that data about you, it's not a conspiracy. It is very valuable. Like people
Exactly.
sell that data and make huge amount of money. So they're totally incentivized to capture as much data as possible. So it's well within reason to think that they are, that it's suspicious.
It is, because at the end of the day, also remember, they won't just stop using it. It's not like...
Yeah. When the crisis is gone, it's like people don't just hand back the power. It's like, give us power, we need to save you and help you. And then when it goes away, it's like, we'll just hold on to this.
Yeah, because, and then it's basically they'll be able to track you wherever you go in the world. And
well, they already can track you, but they can get more data. Like they're tracking you with your phone already. So.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the information is valuable. It depends who the information is valuable to. They'll sell it to that person. The information is not really valuable, but it's valuable to someone.
Yeah.
And then they will, yeah.
But it's crazy times.
So I don't know about the chip stuff. The weapons lab, I think the virus did come from the lab. I'd say that's more probable than not. Was it done on purpose? I can't really say. Yeah, I don't know if it was done on purpose, but it would seem that the powers that be had a response. They were prepared to take control if something like this ever happened. Like they seem to know what to do.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, did they do it themselves, or did they just know what to do when it happened? I don't know.
Well, I mean, Bill Gates was talking about it years ago. He was saying, in the case of a big pandemic, how are we going to be able to control it?
That big pandemic's coming. We know it's coming.
And then Obama as well, I saw one of the speeches he gave. He said the same thing, and we need to be prepared for a big pandemic. Like it was emphasized, and on the pandemic.
I think that's, I've seen that clip. I watched a great video. Can I give you the name of it? I shared it with Dave yesterday. It was on BitChute. The guy didn't post it.
I actually know BitChute.
Yeah, if you've been banned. Okay, the video is by a guy called Blackpilled. It's just called Viral Video.
Like every other thing.
Is there a way? I've got a link here. I can put a link in your chat or something. Can we do that?
Yeah, I think if you go like share screen, you can. If you go share screen, then I can see what you're looking at. So close anything you don't want me to see.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a cool video. So the guy, he broke down a lot of the pandemic movies that have come out in the last 20 years, like zombie movies, virus, and Contagion is the 2011 one, which was supposed to be so technically accurate.
Contagion.
And he's like, yeah. So he's like, why is this movie so accurate? Because they're talking about social distancing in 2011. It's like everything's done. What happened now is like exactly what happened in the movie.
Yeah. And
he looks at the story writer and the producers, and he digs around their history and stuff, and it's quite curious what he finds. So
I do have it open here. Yeah, BitChute was one of those things because I wanted to start off, like I had another thing I was doing on YouTube. I've had many channels. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do. And then I was like, maybe it would be better to go to a different platform where the algorithm is a bit different, where they don't sort of cater to certain people or,
Right, yeah.
And maybe I could, and so I tried BitChute, but yeah.
The search function isn't good enough, but I think it is the future. YouTube's becoming more and more hostile to its own creators and promoting like CNN and stuff, which people are really going there to get away from CNN, and it's kind of confusing for me that they would promote the competition, so to speak.
Yeah, well, it's just more of it's who sponsors them and who. Oh, it's starting to rain. Actually, felt a bit of a.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's they have all these investors. I mean, these big corporations and stuff. Just think about how much money they feed YouTube to like.
Yeah, I think YouTube makes a huge loss. So it's like they hang on to it not because it makes money, it's because it gives them power of like the narrative and story.
Yeah, because it's millions of people.
Shape public opinion with it. It's very valuable in that sense.
Like I can come out and be like, everybody stop watching lamestream media, right? And I get like 100 million views. Like that's gonna affect them, and they're not gonna be happy about that. They're gonna be like, yo, YouTube, remember we gave you this the other day, take that off. Flag it in your community guidelines.
Right. Yeah, I think overlap between the investors and the mainstream media. So it's like the same people who have like the financial in each company and do one. Oh, I lost you for a second there.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's because the weather is starting to. It's like raining outside, so now the signal is starting to get a bit crazy. But look here, I don't even know how long that was. But I want to savor the video before this messes it up completely. And it's been a fucking good chat. I don't know if you can still hear me right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, your signal's dropping. Maybe call it then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, dude, that was a good conversation. Though I won't lie. I don't even know.
Yeah, cool, man. I was a bit nervous. Dave tells you I'm living this exciting life. I'm not sure if that's true. But yeah, man, if you want me back on the show, I'd be happy to talk about these.
Definitely,
again in a few weeks.
I feel like you got a lot more to say actually, and like that's why
we can go down the rabbit hole. Yeah, it depends. You're just touching the surface today, and then we'll see.
Yeah, because obviously I was also. I mean, this is the weird thing that probably people don't know. It's like this is the first time I'm actually talking to you, or first time I've seen you in my whole life. So it's like,
yeah, right.
Now I must have a conversation with you. But that's why I said, I don't like that whole interview type format. I don't like that. It's just let's just talk about things, And so now there's a little bit of insight to people in Asian cultures, and now, and next time we can maybe have a little bit more clarity. But at the end of the day, it was super cool talking to you, dude. I've learned some more things now as well. That's James Proctor. But you said you're not on Instagram and things like that.
I'm on Instagram. It's Jeb Proctor. But it's cool. I'm not here fishing for followers.
No, it's not. It's just it is what it is.
My thing.
If you wanna hear from him, you can follow my show, and then you'll get it from there.
All right. Thanks for the invite. It was cool being on your show.
Shot, brother. Have a good one, and I'll let you know when you can jump on another.
Yeah, cool. Peace.
Thanks, bro. And that was the LoGorrhea podcast.
I'ma turn up, they gon' turn up too. I'm with the homies, what it do? We gon' turn up, she gon' turn up too. She love this dude, I love my skirt too.